So, conga technique part 1, and we're going to start with basic hand positioning on the drum. Generally sit with your elbows below the rim of the drum, so your hands go up and over the rim of the drum, keeping your wrist above the rim of the drum. Bass is a straight lift, drop down and stick to the drum. Don't bounce off the drum, don't treat it hot. Land stick solid and keep hands on the drum. So, bass, and this is the bass tone, bass. So you lift straight up, straight down, keep the hands stuck to the drum. Nice and flat. Make sure you keep your hands nice and flat on the drum. Almost at the beginning, pressing down with this knuckle to try to ensure a nice flat hand and good even pressure throughout the drum. You want all your fingers, all your whole hand surface to land at one time. No bouncing, don't let your fingers bounce up, don't keep them nice and flat. The other thing is, don't lift your hand until you're ready to do the tone or the strike. So keep your hand stuck to the drum, lift up, do your strike. Keep the other hand down for this exercise. Good. Now you want a nice heavy, dry sound. Try not to cup your hands. You can hear the tone of the bass disappears. It becomes a real light striking sound. There's no more bass to it. Keep your hands nice and flat. You want to hear that weight in the bass. Okay? So there's your bass. Make sure when you're learning those, you're using your arm to lift. This is one isolated motion that's used in all the sounds on a drum. In the bass, just the arm does the motion. Okay? And that will also be your first exercise, which we'll get to later. The second is the tone. Tone is back here. Thumb, hand together, flat. You don't want any cup. You don't want your wrist below the drum. Make sure you keep your wrist above the drum, almost like a praying mantis. Okay? And your tone is like that. You do a strike off the rim of the drum. The wooden rim of the drum should sort of follow a line across here. Or on bigger drums, the line may go all the way back to here. On smaller drums, it's going to go back further. If you're on a very small drum, your technique changes totally and you end up hitting way back here. And the rim of the drum hits here. That's the rim of the drum, this area of the drum hits here. So, but you don't want to hit the rim of the drum. You want to hit the skin here inside the drum. Now if the rim of the drum is hitting here, you're hitting with this whole pad area in the drum. You're trying not to hit any force on the actual rim of the drum. That's just where it lines up with your hands. So, the tone is a strike out here. You try to hit a circular area right about here on the drum, or check your drums out. Each drum's a little different. The warm spot's going to be in a different area. And you want to strike at the drum, let it sing, and then let your hand rest back on the drum again. That way you're making a length to the note instead of just letting it ring forever. Give it a little length, a quarter note's length, eighth note's length. That way it has a punctuality to it. Okay? So there's your tone. And you got your... Try to do left, right for a while just on tones and see if you can get good clean sounds out. Like I said, be careful not to whack the rim of the drum. Let your fingers bounce. Strike that little warm spot in the drum. And always concentrate on making your sounds as good as possible. As warm and as pleasant as possible. Don't worry about speed or going fast. Worry more about getting a clean, crisp sound out of your drum. Okay. The next strike is called the mute. The mute is almost identical to the tone, except for you stick it to the drum like I was showing on the basses. You don't let your hands bounce off the drum after you do the strike. So the tone does the little bounce, lets the tone ring out. The mute stops that from happening and actually mutes out that note and makes it sound higher. So tone, mute, tone, mute. Also notice when I'm playing, when I'm doing a tone, this hand doesn't have to be off the drum. It can rest on the rim here or on this wooden rim lightly. As long as you don't interfere with the skin, it won't affect the sound of the tone. If anything, it makes it a little warmer sounding. So you can, and it's very relaxing for all the muscles in the shoulders and in the arms. So you got your tone, your mute. I'll do left hand and right hand mutes. Now, notice when I'm doing these strikes that my arm moves and my wrist. But the arm initializes the movement. So it's not just with a stiff arm. The arm has got to be able to move too and make the initial movement and get your wrist whipping. And then your wrist uses that whip motion to create the power that you need to get this proper sound out.